inside of Nova Mente Jiu-Jitsu Academy. My research has found that Mente is Latin for new men. I am here to discover new men. And on top of all of that, I am here because Troy Toy, bass player for It's Always Sunny in Tijuana, is the head instructor here. And possibly he will share with me some very alluring jiu-jitsu moves. How do I look? Do I look okay? Okay.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Toy. Sensei. Our paths have crossed again.
Finally.
The last time our paths crossed, you were just beginning your journey in jiu-jitsu, and now you are a head instructor in this academy. You shall tell me about it now.
So I took over in February. We're called Nova Mente Academy.
Yes, Mente means new men, and there are a lot of new men here.
It means new mind, but new men, yeah, you know, it's all relative, but yeah, there is a lot of men.
I see. And tell me about what kind of services you offer here.
We do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
What's Brazilian? What's compared to like Chinese jiu-jitsu or Japanese
You get waxed first.
Oh, do you wax your cadaver?
No, I do not.
I see. Are you naturally furry because you are sporting a big beard? And let's just talk about what everyone is thinking about, whether or not you have a furry buttocks.
I do.
Did you want to show it to us now?
Not yet.
That was rather zesty and alluring. You shall take me into the gym. I should like to learn some jiu-jitsu moves. Possibly to defend myself better against vagina.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are on the mat. So what is a proper beginning jiu-jitsu stance?
Stand in the corners of the box.
Okay, corners of the box.
Yeah. Offset your feet a little bit. There we go. And then you can go for takedowns. Yeah.
This is important.
This is important. Moving.
To do this with your cadaver.
Yes. Count
to bump up and down.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, we are talking about real life here. Let us pretend you have come in the middle of the night to Cheeseman Park to break into my lair, but your plans are foiled, and I start chasing you. So, you are running. Okay. I'm chasing you.
All right.
And then there's a log that you didn't see on the ground, and you trip over it. Oh, yes. And then I come like this. Okay, and you're going to try to fend me off with your feet.
Okay,
so you're like this.
Yes.
At this moment,
Yes.
you have a hereditary condition you didn't know about. That's been passed down through the generations, where your arms, they go limp. Paralyzed arms you didn't know about.
I didn't know about this.
Now, you only have your legs and your jiu-jitsu knowledge to fend off the gay undead at midnight in Cheeseman Park. And you're about to do something with your legs. But wait! There's an earthquake suddenly! Oh my word! There's an earthquake! What are we going to do with the earthquake? Now what do you do in the middle of an earthquake with a zombie? How do you fend them off in your condition? Remember your legs. Your arms are covered.
Sorry, okay.
You only have your legs.
Okay. Earthquake still going on.
Okay, so what would you do in such a situation?
I would.
Your arms are paralyzed.
Sorry, I keep forgetting. I would come here. So push them off here.
Yes.
And then start working my way.
This is an outrage. That will be adequate for today.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
We shall go to the interview. I am here driving with you, Tyler Custer. Also, I have referred to you in the past as Yummy Custard because you are. You are the lead guitarist. And are you the founding member of It's Always Sunny in Tijuana?
I'm the founding member, and I'm the last original member.
What happened to all the other members that were original members? Why did you chase them off?
So when we first started, we were kind of like a thrash band, and I wanted to kind of change our sound a little bit to be a little bit darker, to be a little bit more heavier, and so they didn't necessarily like that. So we had sort of a differing of opinion artistically, but some of them moved on to other bands.
Did you kick any of them out?
I did kick a few out. There was a few that had to be kicked out for one reason or another.
Why have you went through so many lead singers?
I don't know. I think it's sort of like this. I guess I can compare it to dating. You don't know that it's the one until it's the one. I guess that's the best way to describe it. So it's sort of like I've had a lot of ex-girlfriends they're fun, they're a good time, but not the one that I would want to take home to mom and dad.
Okay, so let's pretend that you are a gay, metal-headed mortal, and you have dated each singer that's been in the band. Tell me what they're like in a relationship, starting with the first one.
Okay, so our first singer was Lon. Lon's very strong and very powerful.
Was he a top in your relationship or a bottom?
He was a top.
Okay.
I was definitely a bottom at the time. So he was a top, but very, very powerful, very, it's gonna be my way or the highway.
That's hot.
And so I think when it came down to it, it was either his way or the highway. So that's where we had that differing of
But
opinion.
you didn't want to remain a bottom.
I did not.
Okay.
No, I think secretly I've always wanted to be a top. I just didn't have the balls until recently to say, yep, this is what I want.
Okay, who was next lead singer? Next relationship.
Our second singer was Andy.
Is that the one I like?
That is the one that you like.
He is a babe. Why would you get rid? What was a relationship like with him?
I think Andy was kind of, he's one of those guys where makes a really good first impression. So he'd be one of those guys that you meet at a bar and you go, wow, I have an instant connection with this guy.
Yes.
But then when you start to, hang out with him more, you realize that he's definitely not the guy for you. So he's a good fuck, but
only one time.
Yes.
He is
yes.
a one-night stand.
The best one-night stand you're ever gonna have.
Okay. Beautiful eyes. Okay, next.
And then the third singer that we had was Michael. And Michael is, the best way I could describe Michael is like he's a spitfire. And he's like, you gotta catch him. He's like lightning in a bottle. So
you may not even make it home with him to fuck him.
That's right.
It may be like an alley fuck.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you might get blown in the car, but as soon as you're at a stoplight, he's getting out of there.
He's flaky, he's skittish, but he's worth it.
That's right.
Because he's hot, but you're like, I'm not going to make it home with this guy. Okay.
That's right.
Next.
And then after that we had Chad, and Chad was great. Chad was a good guy, but Chad had a lot of personal issues and
What were the personal issues? He wasn't willing to come out of the closet.
I think that's probably what it was. So he had a lot of frustrations that caused him to be
How did that affect your sex life?
It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough because for me at least, I felt pretty emotionally connected to the guy, but it ended up being kind of fiery at the end, and we just fell apart and said, you know what? Probably the best that we go our separate ways because I don't want to.
Was he a good fuck though?
Oh, he was a great fuck.
And you made it home with him.
Yes.
But you argued too much.
Yes, absolutely.
Because of his own issues he was not facing, such as coming out and proudly exclaiming that you both were a couple to the world.
Yeah, he's probably the kind of guy where he'd be like a good punch fuck, where like.
I like that. That's hard. What's a punch fuck?
It's like when you kind of wrestle around a little bit and you kind of just like kind of punch you in the shoulder and get a little physical.
Oh, I've never had someone punch me in the shoulder. Have you punched someone in the shoulder? Well, yes, you have.
Sure.
Him.
Yeah, just a little bit of back and forth, and then it gets a little aggressive and you guys kind of wrestle to the ground, and then rather than like get into an all-out fist fight, you end up kissing each other. And
so that brings us to patty cakes.
Yes.
What is patty cakes like as a gay lover?
He's the best. He's like he fits every single box. So he's a little crazy, which is good, but he's also the kind of person that you could take home to mom and dad, or buy a summer home in Sausalito and get little dogs with.
So what is he like sexually?
He's really good.
Is he a top or bottom, or is he both? Is he versatile?
What I like about Pat is he will be anything that you want him to be, which is great. But
what would you want him to be? What are you trying to make him be so that It's Always Sunny in Tijuana takes their next step?
He is a top when he needs to be, and he's a bottom when he needs to be. So he understands. He when I want to be the top, he will let me be the top. And then when I defer and I want him to be the bottom, he steps up and he's the bottom. So he's the perfect man.
Most acceptable. What is it about deathcore? Why deathcore? Why did that attract you to that form of metal, that kind of metal? Why is that more important to play than another style of metal?
We're just able to write like heavier, darker stuff with the deathcore style rather than sticking to maybe like a thrashier or just straight hardcore.
How did you all each come into the band? You were at the beginning, but how did the rest of you come into the fold? Who was first?
It was me. I knew the old vocalist, their first vocalist, Lon, and he invited me to come play with them after I left my other band. And yeah, that's basically it. Like, I came in and I met Tyler, and it was just Tyler and Lon at the time. We were rebuilding the whole band from scratch, basically.
Was it deathcore at that point? Or?
It was, yeah. I was saying it's not as deathcore as it is now. I guess, are we even? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, we're
Yes, we are.
Yeah. But
I think we've left ourselves open to do
yes.
cool stuff with our sound,
But it was great meeting Tyler, and we went through a few iterations of the band since, but Jared came next after that.
Tell me about your coming into the band.
Well, I was going to see these guys play live, and then their drummer, they were struggling with him, so he left or was fired, I'm not sure, but then he told me to come try out.
Yeah, we used to play together.
And he gave me this song to learn, but the drums were programmed on a computer, so I was like listening to the song and I was like, this isn't the same shit that guy was playing. It was like machine gun blast beats and double bass, and I was like, this is not the same, but so I did the best I could with it and came try it out. And
now, I call you Charlie Watts because, like the legendary drummer, you look absolutely bored when you're playing drums. You shall tell me about your approach to playing drums in a deathcore band and looking so bored?
I don't know. I try. My thing is to sound good before you look good. You know what I mean? I want to be spot on with the beats and the time instead of.
He's already looking good, bud.
Yeah. Can't look much better than this.
He lets that hair down.
When I was younger, I used to go all out and go crazy behind the drum set, but I don't know. I just kind of slowed down over the years, you know.
And the next was Troy. Troy joined the band. Tell me about that and why you are not in a straight edge hardcore band.
I tried out for Tijuana, I think, twice before.
Why did they reject you?
Because I'm not a good vocalist. I'm a good backup vocalist and like a hype man, but that's about it. So I tried out to be a vocalist twice, and then they said no both times.
I remember Tyler was like, hey, Troy wants to audition again, but for bass. I was like, bring him in!
Yeah. And then I saw they needed a bassist, and I was like, I hadn't been playing music at all, and I was like, hit up Tyler, and I was like, I can play bass. He's like, you play bass? Because I'd played drums for forever before, and I was like, sure. So I just re-picked up a bass and very poorly learned how to play, and I was the only bassist that tried out. So they let me in.
You're awesome, though.
Hired on the spot.
Yeah, the reason I'm not in a straight edge hardcore band is because I only know like 5 straight edge people, and it's tough, man. Like literally too tough for me. Like they're all just tough. I don't want to fight people every day.
Yeah, and then that brings us to the vocalist that has been after many other vocalists. Patty Cakes, you shall tell me about joining the band.
Well, I was actually initially I was in another band at the same time when they first hit me up. They had made a post, and I had actually started following them because of some other mutual friend bands, and I saw their post, and I think I got tagged on it like 2 or 3 times or something. And I was like, all right, so. I was also kind of on the exit from the other group, had differences with the guitarist in that group.
What kind of music was it?
They were more like metalcore, not quite deathcore, more soloing, and had a little bit of singing and stuff in it. It was pretty cool. But then I had my first tryout with them. They hit me up like the day before. I think Tyler had just got in town. They're like, hey, you want to come try out? I said, all right. Showed up in a khaki and polo for some freaking reason.
Oh, was. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I like that guy was dressed for church or something. But instantly clicked with everybody and just had a really good time. I learned the one song and then we screwed around on the other tracks for a while and just bullshitted, and I just immediately kind of became family with them, I felt. And but then they held off for a little while, but in the meantime they were trying out a few other people, and then I went to Rusty Sun where they had recorded an EP through, and I went and recorded Deliverance with him to kind of just give to them and say, hey, I'm serious about being in this group, and hook, line, and sinker, I guess.
G wanted you from the second he saw you.
He didn't want to try anybody else.
I was like, oh, let's just, maybe we just kind of see what else is
You
out
left the
there.
room and I was like, that's it, we don't have to search anymore.
And I was like, ba.
What is the current EP that you have out, Jaded?
Yeah, it's
Tell me
jaded.
about it. Is it everything you dreamed it would be?
I think it came out great.
I thought it came out great too, and I think that it was a good entrance to starting in this group together, and I think it built a solid foundation for like our next step, because the next tracks that we've written are a lot, I feel like we're even more put together on these ones since we finally have figured out what each other likes, and I think this next one's going to be even better than that one, but it was a perfect building block, and
So where would you like the band to go as your next step?
Out of state.
Yeah. The world.
get out there.
Play a short tour would be ideal.
At least, get some time outside of the Denver scene for sure would be awesome, and then
I think we're going to try some different things and sounds too.
Yes.
yeah.
Like what?
Well, I mean, I think we're definitely in this new stuff. You're gonna hear a lot of newer, heavier sounds. We're definitely keeping kind of Tyler has that signature dissonant tone that he has for a lot of the leads on it, but it's different. It's a new formula that we've come up with this one, and who knows, maybe down the line we might introduce some singing depending or whatever, or maybe we'll just go straight heavier.
Are you able to sing?
I can sing too a bit.
Pat can do everything.
Like a canary.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like a canary.
Yeah.
If you had an unlimited budget, you were on a major label, as if that even mattered anymore, what kind of album, what would a full-length album sound like?
I think it would be, you'd hear the growth of the band, but you would also be able to hear the influences from both ends. Like, ideally, if we could add, 7 songs onto the Jaded EP and make that a full album, I would love that, because those 3 songs are perfect. Like Pat said, they're a good jumping off point, but they're still really solid. So things we've been writing, I think they go hand in hand. So I would love to just see all of the things together, because then you could see the progression and see how it goes back and forth both ways.
I think I'd probably like to take. I want it to be one of those things where you could listen to it from front to back, and it sounds good as a whole album. But if you listen to it individually, all of those songs can stand on their own. So that's kind of like, for me, if I had time to do that, or if we had time to do that, I would love to take all the time and all the money or whatever it would take in order to make that happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Because usually when we go in and we record, it's like, okay,
You got this time.
yeah, you got to get it done pretty quickly. So if we had more time and money, that's ultimately what I would like, is to write an album that would sound great from start to finish. Or if you listen to each individual track, they could stand on their own.
And that's, as a vocalist standpoint, I've always wanted to, I mean, all my favorite bands are just like you're saying, one that you could hear each song individually, but when you put the album together, it sounds like it's supposed to be together.
Yeah.
And in that way, like, I'm not really into like writing full albums where it's a whole long story, but each song has its own purpose, its meaning, and but it still kind of flows together under a certain category of shit. And those are my favorite kinds of albums. So I've always wanted to write something like that, where it's just catchy through and through.
Is there anything else you need to get on tape here that needs to be heard about It's Always Sunny in Tijuana?
We are writing another EP right now. We don't know when it's going to be out, but
Hopefully recording in the next couple months.
Next couple months it's going to be recorded. So we wrote Jaded, and kind of the way we're doing is we're gonna put out 3 EPs in total, and this is going to be the second one. So if you put all 3 of them together, it would be like it's one big album, but it's kind of just a progression. So yes, it will. We are in the process of writing it. We're actually almost done.
Yeah, which is kind of like and the way music is today. It's kind of our way of our marketing scheme. People spend all this time and effort writing full ass albums, and then 8 of the 11 songs don't ever get heard or played. Whereas we'd like to put in all that effort into these 3 songs each EP, and we put them out, and that people have kind of a short attention span. But if you throw them 3 songs, they're more likely to listen to all 3 of those songs at a time than trying to throw them 11 songs and say, "This is who we are. Here's 11 songs."
Yeah.
We don't want any more.
Today's youth and today's people in our scene just don't have our culture, man. They just don't have the attention for it. So and I think we'll be able to kind of give them a little bit of taste each time, and then
something new too.
Mm-hmm.